Very good evening. This is Africa 24 political discussion. It's a country we still continue to mourn the death of former Prime Minister of the Republic of Kenya, Raila Amolo Odinga. This is Africa 24 political discussion, and here we are trying to give our farewell to the son of the soil, former Prime Minister of the Republic of Kenya, Right Honorable Raila Amolo Odinga. I welcome you wherever you're following this great conversation, and you can be part of us. What you need to do is form this conversation by clicking the link, and then this link will direct you to the studio and will be part of us here. Africa 24 is here, and we are trying to give our farewell to the former Prime Minister Raila Amolo Odinga, who died while receiving his treatment in Mumbai, India. And the statement is getting a lot of respect, the respect from leaders across the world who really recognize Raila Amolo Odinga. And of course, he was the son of Jaramogi Odinga, the first prime minister of and the first vice president of the Republic of Kenya when Kenya was fighting for independence in the year 1963. And Kanu and Kadu were there. Of course, Kenya African National Union and Kenya African Democratic Union, they were there during the time when Kenya was fighting for independence. And of course, we are mourning the death of a former prime minister who died 2 days ago, and he was born in the year 1945. You remember the First World War was 1940 to 1918. The Second World War was from 1939 to 1945. And in 1945, that is when Raila Amolo Odinga died. And we are here celebrating the life of Raila Amolo Odinga. Farewell to the son of the soil, Right Honorable Raila Amolo Odinga. And today we saw a lot of people giving their speeches, a lot of family members, a lot of leaders, led by the President of the Republic of Kenya during the farewell to the son of the soil. And this is Raila Amolo Odinga. That was happening at Moi, that was happening at Nyayo National Stadium. And this is where a lot of people from different counties and, of course, in the entire East Africa and the entire African continent, they converged to give their final send-off to the former Prime Minister of the Republic of Kenya, and that was Raila Amolo Odinga. And we saw people coming out to give their heartfelt condolences to the former Prime Minister, led by the son, Raila Jr., Winnie Odinga, and Mama Ida Odinga, together with the brother-in-law, that is Oburu Odinga, and he is the head brother and older brother of Raila Amolo Odinga. We as Africa 24, we say, may Raila Amolo Odinga's soul rest in peace. People have celebrated Raila Odinga in different ways. People have celebrated the life of Raila Amolo Odinga in different ways, but we still continue to mourn. And as per the will, Raila Amolo Odinga said he should be buried in less than 72 hours. So it shows that he will be buried on Sunday at Bondo, and of course, that is where we are seeing people giving their views, and already progress are there, and the schedule is out here that after the viewing of the body at Nyayo National Stadium, the body will be transported, and of course, it will be air lifted by military forces to Kisumu, whereby people will be allowed to view the body of Raila Amolo Odinga. So today we saw Mama Haida Odinga, Rosemary Odinga, Winnie Odinga, Raila Odinga Jr., Oburu Odinga giving their final send-off. And today, the only verse that really caught attention to people in this country is the verse from the daughter, Winnie Odinga, who was with Baba Raila Amolo Odinga when this breaking news happened in Mumbai, India. And she said that despite the rumors that are being circulated in the social media that Raila died a long time ago, she confirmed that she was with Baba. She was there for him, and He died while he was in her hands. She confirmed, and at the end of the day, she said, "The king is dead, but the crown, long live the crown." The king is dead, but long live the crown. That was Winnie Odinga today.
To fellow mourners and all protocols observed, I don't know who I'll miss more, my dad or my superhero. I've been the luckiest girl in the world because you are my dad. Only 3 other human beings were as lucky as me: Fidel, Rosie, and Junior. Dad, you are light, steady, unyielding, and deeply human. To the world, you are known by many names. When you were growing up, they used to call you Aluo. And then when you started work, they started calling you Jaramogi's son. And at some point, they started to call you Tinga. At another point, they started to call you Aguambo. Briefly there, they called you Nyundo. They called you Jacom. They called you Baba Fidel. But in the end, they called you Baba. To me, you were simply Dad. A man whose presence froze rooms around the world. Our home was the Vitendawili testing ground, filled with trivia, quizzes that challenged the 4 of us, in a good way sometimes. When I learned that you willed to be buried in 72 hours, I laughed. Good old Dad. Testing and planning for all of us, even beyond the grave. I can see you now laughing in your heaving manner. I can see you laughing at all of us, knowing that your wish will be done. To my fellow mourners, I learned from him that love for country is not just in words, but in sacrifice. That justice must be pursued even when the path is lonely. The true leadership is service and not power. Millions of you are in despair, but take heart, because he left a plan for you too. He led all of us, he taught us, he carried us. We know what he expects from us, and we shall rise together in his honor. I watched him at his best. I watched him fall and rise again, each time with grace, forgiveness, and hope. At home, he was gentle and humorous. He loved storytelling, music. I think you know the favorite song. Down the bay, the mountain top, where the sun shines on a mountain top. I took a trip on a sailing ship, and when I reached India, I made a stop. But I'm sad to say I'm on my way. Won't be back for many a day. My heart is down, my world is turning around. I had to leave a little girl in Bondo town. Dad loved his grandchildren, Safi, Fidel's son Alai, Junior's son Lion, Sanai, and Jaramogi. He loved you with all his heart. Even in the busiest moments of national duty, he would send me to check on all of you. I now know it was to remind us to stay grounded, for me to teach you how to dream boldly, and to always stand firm for what is right. Today, as we celebrate his life, I choose to remember not only the leader the world knew, but the father I loved with every fiber of my being. The biggest part of me died on the 15th of October, 2025. But the spirit of the lion roars on forever. Fellow mourners, I was with him in India when he took his last breath. He died in my arms. But he did not die like people have been saying on social media. Every day he was waking up and walking. And every day he would do 1 round. The next day he would push 2 rounds. That morning he pushed to 5 rounds. He died strong, with dignity and with pride. And you must be proud of that. You all must also walk with your heads held high and walk strong and proud that he left as a gentleman.
Yes, that is the daughter of the former Prime Minister Winnie Odinga, and Winnie Odinga was giving final speeches and farewell to the late dad Raila Amolo Odinga, and this is after what happened, and she gave assurance to Kenyans that Raila died in her hands, and she knows all the steps that happened when Raila was dying, and she really feels that she lost the hero and also the dad. That is from what Winnie Odinga said, and she has been trending across all social media platforms that she's daughter's girl. From the speech, from the farewell speech, you can feel that Raila has really affected a lot of people. The death of Raila Odinga has really affected a lot of people. And of course, this is a farewell political show to Raila Odinga. If you're joining us here for the first time and you have a lot of things to share, you have some of the news to share about Raila Odinga, you just need to click the link, and then this link will direct you to the studio and you will be part of us in this discussion. I have just shared the link, and this link will direct you to the studio, and we will have a vivid discussion here as we bid farewell to the son of the soil, Raila Amolo Odinga. Of course, he will be ready to rest on Sunday in Bondo. Let's listen to what the daughter of Raila Amolo Odinga, Rosemary, had to say about the death of her father, Raila Amolo Odinga.
Sina mengi ya kusema. Niko hapa na watoto wangu. Huyu ni mtoto wangu wa kwanza, anaitwa Safi. Na huyu ni wangu wa pili, anaitwa Senai. Niko na mandugu zangu huko nyuma, Junior na Winnie. Na my cousins pia wako hapa. Leo ni siku wa uchungu mwingi sana kwangu mimi. Najua nyinyi pia mnasikia uchungu mwingi sana. Kwa sababu hata baba alikuwa baba wetu, alikuwa baba zetu sote. Naomba niseme machache kwa Kiingereza tafadhali. Because all protocols, I'm anticipates to speak today, and there's so much I can say about Baba, but at the same time, we don't have enough time for me to say it all. To me, he was my advisor, he was a friend, he was also someone who understood me very well and my children and my siblings. I remember the day I received the message. I was seated on the table, just finished my breakfast. And then my brother Junior called me. And he asked me where I was. And I told him, nimekaa kwa meza, I'm seated at the table. And then he asked me to sit down. And I asked myself, now do I sit on the floor, or sitting on the table, or the seat at the table is good enough? I was so confused. But then Junior then told me that our father was no longer with us. Until today, it is still very difficult. Ni uchungu mwingi sana ambao tunahisi kama familia. Na leo hii tunakuja na nyinyi pia, ndio tuombeleze na nyinyi pia, Kenya mzima na dunia mzima. Nataka tu kusema asanteni sana kwa kusimama na sisi, na tutaendelea kusimama pamoja, na Mungu abariki Kenya mzima na bariki dunia mzima. And thank you all. Asanteni sana. Mungu atupe nguvu. Mama, Mungu akupe nguvu. Thank you so much. Sina mengi ya kusema.
Saturday again, after what we experienced today at Nyayo National Stadium during the final send-off and viewing of Raila Odinga's body, whereby millions of Kenyans, they turned up to view and give their final send-off to Raila Odinga, different head of states, and they were led by the President of the Republic of Kenya and also the brother to the former Prime Minister Raila Odinga. Many people are shocked still, and they are not believing, but they had to believe. Even me personally, I had to believe when I saw the body at Nyayo National Stadium today being viewed. Jeremiah, we saw, karibu sana Jeremiah, a sad day, of course. I know we as members of ODM, we have seen how things have been rolling. The death of Raila Odinga has hit a lot of people. Today, the family mourned, and Winnie Odinga confirmed to us that Raila died in her hands, and she knows that the soul of Raila Odinga is resting in peace. Ida Odinga still confirmed to us that it's hard, but we have to believe that Raila is gone. From the family perspective, people are now silenced after the death of Raila Odinga. What do you have to say about the family of Raila, led by now Raila Odinga Jr., Winnie Odinga, and also most important is the speech that came from Winnie Odinga? What do you have to say from Winnie Odinga? Because she gave us just one sentence at the end of the speech, that the king is dead, but long live the crown.
Yes, Bon. Habari ya jioni.
Zuri.
To you and everyone else. They say, vile Nigeria wanasema, this life, wanasema this life no, this life, no what, something. It's not very easy. I have had a hard time understanding and dealing with the fact that Raila is no more. It's very difficult, to
Yes, umepotea?
going to be very different. You can hear me?
Yes, yes.
Yeah, moving forward, I think Kenyan politics is not going to be the same. Kenya as a society is not going to be the same. We just have to prepare ourselves for many new trends and familiar territory. And, the faster we'll adjust to it, the better for us. But sahi vile iko, Kenya is not going to be the same without Raila. It's not going to be easy. That's all I can say for now.
Yes, that is Jeremiah. Long live the crown after what we heard from Winnie Odinga. Mama Odinga, of course, she had to give her final remarks as she mourns the death of her husband, beloved husband.
Many of the people that I see or who are in this stadium could have easily be our children. No wonder you call him Baba. That name did not come from nowhere, but came from the experience and the life that he has lived with and relationship that he has had with some of these people. During our union, we were blessed by 4 children. First, we had the first child was called Fidel Castro Odhiambo Odinga. When Fidel was born, I was a bit hesitant the way he gives the name. I said, why do you call him Fidel? Then he said he was a great admirer of Fidel Castro, and therefore he named his first child Fidel Castro Odinga. Later, we had the second child, Rosemary, and here again, Rose is the name of my mother, and Mary is the name of his mother. We combined the 2 names together, and we called the child Rosemary. It also has a meaning to us. When it came to the third one, and he named after his best friend and his cousin called Raila Kembo, with whom they shared the name. So we ended up with Raila Odinga Odinga. Last, there was a big gap, and I'll explain to you. Last came the 4th child. The 4th child, when I went to the hospital, and you know those mothers, or you end up somewhere in labor ward. And I was watching the television. And on the television, that's the time when Nelson Mandela had come out of prison. It was he's been there for 27 years. Raila also had been in prison, but that's not why we named her Winnie. And I was watching the television, I could see Nelson Mandela and Winnie Mandela holding hands as Mandela walked out of the gates of the prison. By then, I didn't know what kind of child I was going to get. But then I said, if it's a boy, we'll name him Wilson Mandela. But if it's a girl, will be Winnie Mandela. And therefore, Winnie Mandela arrived. And that's the fourth child. I see when you look at this naming of the children, I know these days you can name your child anything that you want, but I'll appeal to those who are still having babies. Give your child a meaningful name, because you name them people you never saw, you never heard of, simply because you saw the name written somewhere. There's nothing wrong with giving our children the names of the people who in our lives we think are the heroes. Our life was not smooth life. Just like any other family, there's been ups and downs. But as we continue living together, we've learned how to cope, because we all have weaknesses and strengths. We learned to talk straight to one another. We learned to speak the truth, and we learned to forgive and move on. Now, that forgiving spirit was not only in the home, but is something that has spread to the Kenyan. You've seen.
That is Mama Haida Odinga, Jeremiah, I think, and everyone who is following this discussion, when she was giving her views and why they just ended up naming their children Fidel, Raila Odinga Jr., Winnie Mandela, and Rosemary Odinga. From what you heard, Jeremiah, do you buy this idea that we should give our children names that are meaningful? Because personally, I believe that in our area, giving a child a name, it must correlate with the events proceeding when the child was born. From what Mama Ida said.
Yeah, that is very true. And I was even having a discussion with another cousin of mine on the same, that nowadays you have these young girls giving children names, G Denzel, G what,
The
Rooney.
Roman,
People think that
Roman,
Jaden, G what, and you're wondering now these people, what's the meaning of that name? A name should have a meaning. Like for me,
yes,
all my children's names have meanings. There is a
yes,
reason why they're called certain names. But now, back to Raila's, all of the names are significant. They mean something to them, and that's how it should be. And I take her advice seriously. What I'm waiting to see now is in the next couple of, months, in the next maybe couple of, the next year or so, how Kenyan politics is going to be retooled, to be realigned to the new reality of politics without Raila. It's not going to be business as usual. It's not going to be easy for politicians to adjust, and it's going to be, people are going to miss Raila very deeply within a very short time. I can tell you that for a fact. Within less than 6 months, people are going to start saying, "Oh, I wish Raila was here. Oh, I wish Raila was around." That type of thing. And yeah, let's wait and see how it goes.
yes. That is Jeremiah, of course, sharing his views. And of course, make sure from the advice from Mama Ida Odinga, if you're following this discussion, I can see people from different areas. We are here discussing the family and giving our farewell to the son of the soil, Raila Amolo Odinga, a day that has it's a lot of people from different areas. Jeremiah Gachego was not here. it's something which has raised concerns. Gachagua was not in the final center of Raila, and also the opposition was not given opportunity to give their final send-off, and yet Kalonzo, to be specific, he was the man who was very close to Raila Odinga. You think that there was discrimination when it comes to giving speeches, or there was no time? And do you think Kalonzo could have been left aside?
You know, that was a state funeral, but by and large, it was very political. And in politics, anytime you have the opportunity to show your muscles, you do that. So I would want to say it was intentional, because if it was by accident, then maybe the follow-up press statements that Kindiki has given now and all, ange correct that, but he has not corrected it, which means that they know what they are doing. They are not trying to give those guys airtime, and those guys are the ones who brought that on themselves, because waliingia kwa group kama wamefuatana wote pamoja. Nani Mukisa Kitui, Matiangi, Wamalwa,
Kalonzo.
Martha, huyu former attorney general, waliingia pamoja. So they are trying to make a statement at the wrong place. Hao watu waliona hiyo wakasema, mmekuja kushow your muscles, tuone mtapata nini, na wakawazimia stima kabisa, na wakazimia. So I think that was a power move by the government, by extension by Ruto. Hao watu wameingia, wanakuja wanataka kujifanya hao ndio opposition. Wacha tuone how much they can do bila kupewa space ya kuongea. So I think that was a power move. Ile kitu what's going to happen is that I think ODM is going to be solidly behind Ruto until 2027, but their stance in that union is going to be weakened by the absence of Raila. Raila could negotiate to increase their stake and their power in the collaboration, but without Raila, they are going to lose a lot of their bargaining power. They will stay there because by and large they are stuck. If not Ruto or what, we think ODM can join hands with this opposition. I don't think they can. If they go, they will disintegrate because not everyone will go. Mtu kama Sifuna, yeye sasa inaenda kumbidi tu afuate Nyayo mali ODM inaenda. Otherwise ataambiwa wewe, kama if you want to go, you go, so that we know you are gone. Sisi tubaki hapa tuendelee na kazi. I think that's what's going to happen.
Yes, the opposition just entered the Nyayo National Stadium, following each other, led by Kalonzo, Eugene, CS Muturi, and former Attorney General. And also, that is why maybe the government decided not to give them that space, because if they were given space, maybe they would have slumped the government, and then the government played a Cold War during the final send-off at that is Nyayo National Stadium today, during the final send-off of Raila Amolo Odinga. Some of the members, as Jeremiah said, they need to follow what is happening. But we have seen a post from the Mbakasi East Member of Parliament, Baba Wino, saying that there are plans to attack him before the final send-off of Raila Amolo Odinga.
I think, I'm not sure if that thing is really coming from Babu. Nafikiria ni watu tu wanamchokoza. That's why he has not, I don't think it's from here. I don't think Babu would be that stupid. Your statements here, Mini. If he knew something like that was going to happen, angenyamaza, angoje what happens, then watu wake wa respond. But I don't think he would write such a thing at such a time. I think I hate him idea. So maybe your statement mimi sioni kama imetoka kwa babu. I think the opponents wake wanaiandika so that nini watu waanze kumwangalia na njia fulani. I'm not sure it's coming from babu.
But it's already verified account for Baba Wino that has already that one.
He said from his account.
Yes, from his account, from his own account, verified one.
On his nini X account.
X and also Instagram account.
Mimi, I'm not on Instagram na X na angalianga tu once. So me, I'm just seeing it on FB. I'm seeing it on FB, and then also people forwarding it on WhatsApp.
Yes. So this is what I can. This is what. Yes, Baba Wino. Yes. He's saying this 9 hours ago. There are plans to attack me on before the day of Baba's burial. I am aware of the culprits behind the scheme. It is my prayer that we give Baba the befitting send-off that he deserves, devoid of unwanted violence. Baba Wino.
Iko kwa nini? Iko kwa inaitwaje? Kwa X.
Yes, kwa Instagram yake, verified account ya Instagram ya Baba Wino ndio hiyo, verified.
Okay. Mimi sijaona hiyo, but if it's from him, I don't think it's a good move. I don't think it's a good move on his part.
Yes.
It would be the wrong move if it's actually coming from him. But with that said, those are some of the things that are going to happen in the politics moving forward. Those are the things nilikuwa nasema shifts. Things are going to shift. There are going to be very many realignments and retooling. Nilikuwa napiga story na watu wengine leo mchana, wanasema so many Luo MPs, Luo Nyanza MPs are not even going to make it back without Raila. That could be true, that could not be true. But what I know is that those who will align with ODM will take one stance. Okay, they will stay on this, partnership with the UDA, but they will be the weaker partner. If Raila was still there, they would stay on as the stronger partners, or they would be equal partners. But without Raila, they are going to be the weaker partners in the coalition. Watajiarrange vizuri after 2027. But in the run up to 2027, kitu itakuwa ngumu kidogo. Lazima ajipange.
Yes, we are mourning the death of former Prime Minister Raila Odinga. And if you're following us here for the first time, make sure you subscribe to Afrique24 YouTube channel. And that is what we request from you. Always keep it locked here. I can see Eki Kingstar following the discussion. I can see Felix Agwanda, Leo Nyabaya still following this discussion. But it's a Saturday. We are mourning the death of Raila Odinga. Today we saw speeches from the wife, the daughter, and also the brother. That is the son to Raila Odinga, and also the brother to Raila Odinga, Oburu Odinga. And a few hours ago, we have heard what Oburu Odinga said, current life, that we need to keep peace. Let's avoid anything that can cause chaos during this time. We are having final send-off of Raila Odinga. And also here in Afrique24, we say let's maintain peace as we give final send-off to the man who fought for the freedom of this country. That is Raila Odinga. As we give final send-off, we request everyone to maintain peace. And tomorrow, as the body is going to be viewed in Kisumu and Bondo, make sure you maintain peace. And of course, Oburu Odinga, he has condemned the case whereby there were tear gas being thrown to mourners at Moi International Sports Center, Kasarani, yesterday during the viewing of the body. And he's saying Raila has been tear gassed while he was alive. Let's avoid tear gassing him while he's still dead. That is from Oburu Odinga. Joey.
Since I learned of my dad's demise, I have organized over how to best mourn him. My father was many things to me, to many people, but to my siblings and I, he was simply Dad. Dad embodied resilience, courage, and unwavering commitment to the ideals of freedom and justice. He always stood for what he believed was right, sometimes at great family cost and personal cost as well. He was my hero. And his legacy lives in me, in my siblings, and in all those whose lives he touched. I am my father's son. And that is why I will continue to fight for values he believed in: justice, fairness, and service to others.
Joey. Yes. It was short. Jeremiah, give me your final remarks. We are more Raila Odinga. That is what we are having.
The thing is that continuity has to be there. Power abhors vacuum, and as much as people would like to say Junior is the heir apparent, I don't think he is. Winnie outshone him. He can be heir apparent from a family context. He can be the head of the family as the man in the home, but politically, I think Winnie is going to be the one. The same way with Raila and Uburu. Raila was the political head, but Uburu was the family head, and that played out well up to now. So I think that's going to play itself again. Junior tabaki yeye ndio kijana wa boma, and that's fine. But kisiasa, I think Winnie looks like the one who is going to take over from the father. That is my assessment.
Yes. Wanasema Winnie ni yeye alipewa baraka zote na baba yake, maana alishuka kama amebeba ile kofia ya baba, na pia tuliona alikuwa amevaa ile jacket ya baba. Na from what I have a speech for Winnie here, kidogo tu ni kunguzie vile alisema, but watu wanasema Winnie, she's the girl to watch. Alibarikiwa na Raila Odinga. Maybe kuna kitu aliambiwa yenye watu hawajui, wanasiasa hawajui, hata watu wa ODM hawajui, because if baba died while she was there, then maybe there is something aliambiwa.
To fellow mourners and all protocols observed, I don't know who I'll miss more, my dad or my superhero. I've been the luckiest girl in the world because you are my dad. Only 3 other human beings were as lucky as me: Fidel, Rosie, and Junior. Dad, you are light, steady, unyielding, and deeply human. To the world, you were known by many names. When you were growing up, they used to call you Aluo. And then when you started work, they started calling you Jaramogi's son. And at some point, they started to call you Tinga. At another point, they started to call you Aguambo. Briefly there, they called you Nyundo. They called you Jacom. They called you Baba Fidel. But in the end, they called you Baba. To me, you were simply Dad. A man whose presence froze rooms around the world. Our home was the Vitendawili testing ground, filled with trivia, quizzes that challenged the four of us, in a good way sometimes. When I learned that you willed to be buried in 72 hours, I laughed. Good old Dad. Testing and planning for all of us, even beyond the grave. I can see you now laughing in your heaving manner. I can see you laughing at all of us, knowing that your wish will be done. To my fellow mourners, I learned from him that love for country is not just in words, but in sacrifice. That justice must be pursued even when the path is lonely. The true leadership is service and not power. Millions of you are in despair, but take heart, because he left a plan for you too. He led all of us, he taught us, he carried us. We know what he expects from us, and we shall rise together in his honor. I watched him at his best. I watched him fall and rise again, each time with grace, forgiveness, and hope. At home, he was gentle and humorous. He loved storytelling, music. I think you know the favorite song. Down the bay, the mountain top, where the sun shines on a mountain top. I took a trip on a sailing ship, and when I reached India, I made a stop. But I'm sad to say I'm on my way. Won't be back for many a day. My heart is down, my world is turning around. I had to leave a little girl in Bondo town. Dad loved his grandchildren. Safi, Fidel's son Alai, Junior's son Lion, Sanai, and Jaramogi. He loved you with all his heart. Even in the busiest moments of national duty, he would send me to check on all of you. I now know it was to remind us to stay grounded, for me to teach you how to dream boldly, and to always stand firm for what is right. Today, as we celebrate his life, I choose to remember not only the leader the world knew, but the father I loved with every fiber of my being. The biggest part of me died on the 15th of October, 2025. But the spirit of the lion roars on forever. Fellow mourners, I was with him in India when he took his last breath. He died in my arms. But he did not die like people have been saying on social media. Every day, he was waking up and walking. And every day he would do 1 round. The next day he would push 2 rounds. That morning he pushed to 5 rounds. He died strong, when with dignity and with pride. And you must be proud of that. You all must. That morning he pushed to 5 rounds. He died strong, when with dignity and with pride. And you must be proud of that. You all must also walk with your heads held high and walk strong and proud that he left as a gentleman. As a family, we want to thank all of you, from Turkana to Lamu, from Isiolo, Mandera, to the shores of Lake Victoria. Asanteni sana. The king is dead, but long live the crown. Joey! 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 Rest in peace, Dad. Asante.
Yes, Jeremiah Joey. Maybe Jeremiah, from what you have heard, that girl seems to have some of the secrets from the dad. Ni watu hawajui. Hivi aliachiwa hiyo urithi ya uongozi na baba yake because ni yeye alikuwa na yeye huko.
Hiyo ni nini? She's unanisikia?
Nakusikia?
Yeah, she's definitely coming out stronger than Junior. And if
Unapotea.
if their speeches today is something to go by, Junior aongoze tu familia, lakini siasa waachie Winnie. Siasa waachie Winnie. Yeye aongoze tu familia kama yeye ndio kijana amebaki, but labda mtoto wake atachukua from someone, but siasa waachie Winnie. Winnie amemshinda. Hata ukisikia vile Winnie anasema Joey na vile Junior anasema, umeshaona ile movie inaitwa Lion King? Yeah, you remember Lion King when the king was dying, alikuwa na watoto wake Simba and the sister. When they were roaring, Simba's roar ilikuwa weak, but the roar of the sister was heavier because the sister was stronger than Simba. Hiyo ndio kama mimi na hivyo ndio vile mimi naona hii Winnie is coming out stronger than Junior. Junior akae kujua watu watamfuata. People would be comfortable with Winnie and him.
That morning he pushed to 5 rounds. He died strong, when with dignity and with pride. And you must be proud of that. You all must also walk with your heads held high and walk strong and proud that he left as a gentleman. As a family, we want to thank all of you, from Turkana to Lamu, from Isiolo, Mandera, to the shores of Lake Victoria. Asanteni sana. The king is dead, but long live the crown. Joey! 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 Rest in peace, Dad. Asante.
Joey, Winnie Odinga seems to have the blessing from the father. And here in Africa 24, we say farewell to the son of the soil and the former Prime Minister of the Republic of Kenya, the late Raila Amolo Odinga. Baba Raila Amolo Odinga, may your soul rest in peace. And we as Africa 24, we say, may soul of Raila Amolo Odinga rest in peace, and may we get to know if one day we'll be there in Canaan. As Raila promised, I will show you the ways, but I may not be there in Canaan, but I'll show you the ways. And the ways are now being seen through the Gen Z movement that happened last year when Agbambo was still sleeping, was not aware that Gen Z are awake. But this time around, we are mourning the death of Raila Amolo Odinga, and we say, may peace prevail. Thank you so much, Jeremiah, for coming through today as we gave our Africa 24 farewell to Raila Amolo Odinga. Maybe you can give us your parting shots, Jeremiah.
It's a sad day. It's going to be even sadder tomorrow. It's going to be difficult times ahead after Sunday, after Baba is dead and is buried. Politics not going to be the same. The country is not going to be the same. Life without Raila is not going to be the same. We just have to brace for whatever comes. No one can predict how things will be. No one can foretell how things will happen. One thing we know is that adjusting to life, leadership, and politics without Raila is going to be challenging in many, many ways. And we need to just brace for that. Tuanze kujipanga mapema as Kenyans. That's all I can say.
Yes, thank you so much, Jeremiah. Joey. May Raila Amolo Odinga's soul rest in peace. And we as Africa 24 family, we say we will continue to give our farewell to Raila Amolo Odinga, to the family, and also to anyone who is concerned with this family of Raila Amolo Odinga. Tomorrow is on Saturday. The program is already on, and the government has already released officials and program of the burial ceremony that is going to take place on Sunday. And Raila Amolo Odinga is going to be buried next close to his mother, as the will said. But we also say, may peace prevail, as tomorrow Kisumu, Siaya, Nyanza, and Western people will be allowed to go and view and give their final send-off to Raila Amolo Odinga. As the brother to the late Raila Amolo Odinga said, may we maintain peace during this time when we are fighting with this hard situation whereby the entire country, the whole continent of Africa, and the entire world is mourning the death of Raila Amolo Odinga. Still, questions are arising why we have not seen the tweet from the former president of the United States of America, that is Barack Obama, who is linked to be a Kenyan, and he was very close to Raila Amolo Odinga. Still, he has not tweeted or posted anything to the social media, neither Michelle or anyone else related to Barack Obama. Still, questions are rising, but it is not high time we question. What we are having as a country is to give the final send-off to Raila Amolo Odinga and ensure that he has rested peacefully, and the legacy that he left will be continued by people who he mentored during the time while he was alive. May Raila Amolo Odinga's soul rest in peace. Joey.